Hey there, everyone around the First Coast and wherever you're watching here on FCN Plus. I am meteorologist Robert Speta, and today we got plenty to talk about. We got the weekend forecast. We have an Ironman going on here in Jacksonville. Plus, we're looking at kind of the broader scope of weather across the United States, as well as the El Nino update that just came out yesterday from the CPC. It looked quite interesting. And today is a noteworthy day in the tropics. So, yeah, plenty to talk about today. Let's get right into it here on Weather Impact Live. Just me here this afternoon. And, I got plenty to go over here. First off, you take a look at the satellite picture. That storm system that impacted the east coast of Florida just a few days ago is racing towards the northeast. We're still looking at some windy and wet conditions across parts of New England, though, tied up with that. Relatively drier down towards the south. And if we look off towards the west, we got some showers moving through parts of Oklahoma, Texas, and some stronger thunderstorms there into the Wisconsin area. But what I do want to note, though, is across the northeast. It has been not only chilly right now, but chilly over the course of the past few weeks. And we actually had a late season freeze in a few spots out here that caused some pretty serious damage to, of all things, the peach crop in New Jersey. That's kind of interesting to kind of think about. And we have a Julia out of one of our affiliates in New Jersey here. Right off the bat, I want to toss it to her because this, if you're interested in fruits or anything like that, this actually could raise the prices of them as we go ahead through this upcoming year. So let's hand it over to her.
These little peaches from the inside here are going to keep growing bigger.
Rebecca Alstead-Modry is the second-generation owner of this farm in Chester.
So what you're seeing right here is actually the outside of a peach flower.
They grow just about everything here, including peaches, but farmers statewide say they're especially concerned about their crop supply this season, thanks to how moody Mother Nature's been.
The freeze that we had the middle of April was challenging.
Workers say it simply got too hot too fast last month, followed immediately by a deep freeze that wouldn't let up.
So this is one of the remnants of a peach flower that was damaged in the freeze.
And while this farm is thankful they didn't lose more of their crop, others weren't as lucky.
The peach industry is definitely struggling. South Jersey lost about 70 to 80% of their peaches.
And with the picking season just a few weeks away, it's fair to say things aren't exactly looking peachy out there.
I think what you're going to end up seeing this summer is a lack of New Jersey peaches, and you're probably going to see some price inflations because of that, because of the limited supply of peaches throughout the state.
This is the worst year in a couple of decades.
Daniel Ward is a Rutgers professor who specializes in fruit crops.
New Jersey typically has more moderate changes in the spring and not those widely fluctuating temperatures that we experienced this year with really warm, a stretch of really warm days that really pushed ahead the development of plants, followed by that sudden, really cold night that was like, maybe 24, 25 degrees in a lot of the state for many hours.
So I think there's a lot of room for our year outlook to change.
Farm workers say it's too early to write the season off. They hope as the weather turns, so too does their outlook.
Every day we find more peaches, we find more flowers that are becoming actual fruits, but we're definitely seeing a loss, but we're also definitely seeing some peaches on here that we're going to be able to have to sell and to have for our pick your own.
Wow, interesting. So it's not just across the southeast seeing the late freezes and the unusual weather this year. I honestly did not know that New Jersey was big in the peaches. I mean, I knew that the peaches grew in the New England area across the Northeast, but I didn't know it was that big. I always just think Georgia peaches here, but more you know. For today, though, yeah, it is already chilly again across that area in the Northeast. That cooler air spilling in behind our storm system, racing away towards the east coast of Canada, in fact. Let's take a closer look at Jacksonville, though, as we go ahead through our Friday. 85 degrees. Nice, cool morning with a warm afternoon on tap. Sunset's going to be at 8:14 p.m. here here on our Friday. And even if you plan on getting out running due to the lower humidity, it's going to be a beautiful day. Now, I'll get to the Ironman forecast here on Saturday in just a moment, but at least for our Friday, it was a cool start. Relatively cooler afternoon, high 70s, lower 80s, but plenty of sunshine continuing the forecast. And with the clear skies, we actually had a Falcon 9 launch that was delayed from Wednesday. Now planning to launch here from Cape Canaveral SLC 40 at 6:05 p.m. Of course, the Falcon 9, one of the most reusable and classic rockets at this time. I remember 10, 15 years ago, it was a big deal, but now they've almost gotten to the point where they feel very routine. Trust me, every single launch is not routine, and still going to be pretty cool to see. It's going to be moving towards north with this specific launch, northeast. So if you're in Jacksonville, anywhere along the coast, you should be able to see it flying by there in the evening sun off towards the east. So if you're at the beach, probably the best place to spot this rocket launch coming up here on your Friday. Some pretty cool stuff there. I'm going to try to get out there and check it out. Here on our Saturday, though, 88 degrees, mostly sunny as well, breezy and muggier. That's one of the key things. The humidity is going to start to build in throughout the day here on our Saturday, and that is going to make things muggy and sticky, yes, for the Ironman, which the race starts there, 2.4 miles, a swim up the St. Johns River. Then they're going to be jumping on some bikes and going for a long bike ride, then a little bit of a run at the end. It is a whole event, very exciting, hundreds of miles being put out here, but good luck to everybody involved in it. And, at the start of the race, temperatures will be into the 60s there in the river. They've been training for this, so beyond me, them actually swim up the main, right under the Main Street Bridge in the St. Johns River, but they're going to have crews out there making sure everybody's staying safe and everything. Temperatures warming up into the high 80s through the afternoon, though, so that peak of daytime heating is going to be interesting. Most of that's going to be on the bike. Once they're out near the coast, you have a little bit of a sea breeze. When they get back towards Jacksonville, that sea breeze should start to march inland, hopefully cooling things off a little bit later on into the day here. But hot and humid, and it is going to be on the warm side for this whole event. And good luck to everybody involved, or maybe you're visiting from out of town. You're just kind of curious what the weather's going to be like. There you go. It is a mild start to the day, heating up with the sea breeze starting to set in through the afternoon. No real chance of rainfall with it. That's some good news. And speaking of the sea breeze, along our coastal areas, for example, at the Beaches Town Center, we have Dancing in the Street going on. Temperatures will be into the lower 80s, dropping to the 70s after sunset, which is at 8:14 p.m. A lot of good bands out at that specific event. And one of my favorite local bands, Julia Gulia, will be out there, and they're always fun to watch out. All right, so here on our Sunday, 88 degrees, hot and humid, isolated inland showers start to kick in too. That is going to be kind of one of the big topics as we go ahead in the next week. We're really starting to get into a wetter pattern. What I mean by that is we're starting to see kind of what we would typically see during the summer season. We get these afternoon isolated showers, especially on Sunday, Monday, and even over towards Tuesday. An onshore flow begins to set up, and that's going to create kind of this enhanced moisture. And even see that here with our future cast. This high pressure ridge is slowly shifting towards the east, and then you see these afternoon showers, especially on Sunday. Look at that, across a good portion of the state of Florida and southeast Georgia by 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Chances of rainfall definitely kicking up there. And then you just go overnight, it tapers off. And then again on Monday, there's a chance of rain, but primarily most of that is going to stay south and west of Jacksonville, especially along the I-4 corridor. And not to sound like a broken record, but again on Wednesday, you're going to kind of see that. And once again, it is all due to this southeasterly flow continuing to set up an onshore wind, which is going to create a high risk of rip currents along our coastal areas here in the First Coast. And then here's a look at the atmospheric moisture, those areas in the darker greens, indicating that deep level of moisture. And really for Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday, that absolutely is building in. So even if you're not seeing the rainfall, what you will see is at the very least warmer temperatures and an increase in humidity, thus increasing the heat indices across our area into the 90s. Now, an increase in humidity and chances of rain is good news for any wildfires that still may be smoldering spring despite all the rainfall we got over the last week. But also the additional rainfall is going to be helping out the drought, which we absolutely need here on the First Coast. So let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. 85 here on our Friday, 88 on our Saturday, over towards Sunday, and then back into 87, 86 for the high. Key thing is here on our Friday, we had a low into the 50s here to start off the day. If you look out through the extended outlook, the lows get back up into the mid to high 60s, near 70 by next Thursday. And that also indicates the increase in humidity. The higher the dew points, the less likely the temperature is going to drop down lower than the mid 60s overnight. And also a clear indicator of us getting once again into the wet season here on the First Coast. Where is all the rain, right? This is our rainfall deficit since September. So we're looking at the beginning of September. We are down 18 and almost a quarter inches. 18.15. We are down, and that is the significant deficit right now. We are under a severe drought, and we need the rain. And like I mentioned, this is the normal rainfall as we head to this time of year, the end of May, and look at the big jump up in the total rainfall per month on average. June, July, August, September, it gradually climbs up, and that is the wet season really kicking in. Exceptionally high August and September because that's also hurricane season. They kind of go hand in hand. I mean, hurricane season technically starts June 1st, but it really begins the peak into August, September, even over towards October. It begins to back off a bit. But those are our wettest months of the year, and hopefully it does help out with this ongoing drought we have here on the First Coast. I mean, just take a look at that. We still have extreme to exceptional numbers. Next Thursday, we'll have a true good update on these drought index. This one I don't think really captured the amount of rainfall that we got earlier this week because it starts on like Monday. So, yeah, we'll keep you posted on that. But I think just an increase in precip will definitely, absolutely be a welcomed sight. And it's not just the increase in rainfall, but it's also the increase in the hurricane season coming up here soon too, as well as the El Nino. So when I come back, we're going to talk more about the ENSO. We're going to go to a break right now, though. Got to pay those bills. Yeah, when we come back, we're going to talk about the ENSO, what the latest update on the El Nino means for you, as well as the hurricane season out here in the Atlantic. So don't go anywhere.
That is the Protector.
This truck is a beast.
It's got all the tools on it. I love how big the tires are.
And this is going to be able to show you the weather around the First Coast like you've never seen it before.
The Protector really is going to help protect the community.
So you can see what it looks like on the ground. And that allows folks to really take action and do something about it.
And it gives us that edge in continuing to be the most accurate weather team.
Sponsored by HananiahAutos.com.
I'm Keitha Nelson, Good Morning Jacksonville anchor and mom of twins Journey and Trey. I'm on your side, getting you out the door and off to a great start. Make the move to Good Morning Jacksonville on First Coast News, weekdays from 4:30 to 9, anywhere you watch.
First Coast Living Live.
Bringing you closer to the tastiest food.
The best shopping.
And family fun.
Woo! Jordan Wilkerson and David Benfield. First Coast Living Live, weekdays at 11 a.m. only on NBC 12.
We have new details about a heavy police presence in Jacksonville Beach.
Driver fired gunshots along the interstate today, prompting a police chase.
Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
The First Coast News weather team is here to deliver your most accurate forecast with weather impact alerts to warn you about severe weather and up-to-the-minute information on First Coast News Plus.
The wave of moisture rolls its way on in here.
Our team is the most equipped and experienced to help you prepare and keep you safe.
The First Coast News weather team is always on your side. Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
My mission is to help you get to where you're going safely. Whether it's helping you beat the backup on 95 or navigating the slowdown on JTB, we've got you covered. Make the move to Good Morning Jacksonville on First Coast News. Weekdays live from 4:30 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Hey, look at that view out there on the Jacksonville beach. Looking pretty nice here today. But I do want to talk about not only the beach, but how about the tropics as well today, because we had the latest update on the El Nino, or the ENSO update from the Climate Prediction Center yesterday here on May 14th. And the latest update here indicates a strong sign that, yes, we will be in an El Nino this coming summer, heading into the winter, and maybe even a super El Nino, which, by the way, what does that simply mean? A very strong El Nino. It means 2 degrees above average in the eastern Pacific Ocean. That changes the general weather pattern across not only that area, but the world. The overall weather patterns do kind of change due to this oscillation in the Pacific Ocean from an El Nino over towards a La Nina. Ooh, that was interesting. So yeah, let's talk about, kind of what we're talking about here. And then what is an El Nino? Well, what is the El Nino? And this kind of is addressing some of the questions that a lot of you have had here. And because people have been asking me, well, when's it going to hit? And the El Nino doesn't really hit. As I mentioned, it's a change, a gradual change in the sea surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean. And with that gradual change, it gradually changes the weather patterns across the globe. And it causes a general shift in the pattern, but not a specific storm, nor does... Like, if you get hit by a big storm, you can't blame it on the El Nino. You can blame the general pattern or maybe an increase in the frequency of storms on it as well. What it does do, and speaking of general patterns, it does make the hurricane season a bit less active. Typically, the Caribbean, the main formation area out in the Atlantic, you see below average number of storms with above average number of storms off of the east coast of the United States, primarily the Carolinas towards the north. A super El Nino is a real term. It means 2 degrees above average in the eastern Pacific across a broad area. You can see right here, look out towards the west, and you kind of see those darker colors of the oranges there, southeast of Hawaii, west of Mexico out there. Broad area already 1 to 2 degrees above average, and thus we have the El Nino in place. So it is it's a general broad weather pattern. Now, what does it mean for us here on the First Coast? Well, an El Nino typically means wetter and cooler winters as well. Especially as we head in the next winter, when we're full on in this El Nino, more storms tend to dip towards the south with the jet stream. Higher severe weather threats obviously come along with that. If you have a further south jet stream with more storms and wetter conditions, it can lead to a less active hurricane season because of that jet stream dipping further towards the south. And that ends up increasing wind shear, which results in less conducive tropical cyclone development. And this is even reflected in the latest update from the CSU. The NHC's hurricane season outlook actually is going to be coming out next Thursday. But here for 2026, 13 named storms are in the forecast. It's below the 30-year average, just below the 30-year average for hurricanes, and just below the 30-year average for major hurricanes. What does this mean? Well, it just means we're about average. And it is interesting because over the last 10 years, every single forecast is always depicted above average. And we've ran with those numbers too. But since we are in a very strong El Nino, it is at average or just below average here for our hurricane season outlook. It just really shows how much the sea surface temperatures have been warming to provide a lot of energy out here just with climate change, because I bet you 40, 50 years ago, if we had a very strong El Nino like we have in the forecast here, the expected number of hurricanes would be much, much, much lower. But you have warmer sea surface temperatures kind of combating that. But, it always takes one. It doesn't mean no storms are going to form up. In fact, you take a look at the number of El Nino tropical cyclones over the course of the last, going back to the 80s, they typically are below average, that's for sure. I mean, look at 82, 83, 86, only 6 named storm systems. Picked up a bit in 2023, but each one of these years are El Nino years, and they just a kind of a reminder, despite the fact we have an El Nino and I say less active, doesn't mean that the tropics are going to be absolutely calm. And speaking of the tropics, today, May 15th, is the start of tropical cyclone updates from the National Hurricane Center. They just put out their latest update as of 8 a.m. Eastern Time. 12Z, they put out their first tropical cyclone advisory for 2026. Now, what does that mean? Well, they're going to put these out every 6 hours like they always do. And the first one says there's not really much out there. There's no threat of any tropical systems developing over the upcoming 7 days. But yeah, it just shows we're getting closer and closer to hurricane season, which officially does start on June 1st. With that official start of hurricane season. So with that said, we're always preparing for hurricane season. We always talk about, what you should do, but also gauging how strong the winds are. Now, this package is actually with Julia here from the Florida University. They were doing a little bit of research on how hurricane strength winds impact mobile homes, and it is a wild story with some pretty incredible images here. So let's check it out.
This is just the preliminary force of FIU's wall of wind, 12 fans that can simulate the power of a hurricane. Researchers blasted Category 5 force hurricane winds to find out just how much force this manufactured home could take.
This shows that we need to make sure that we make this structure safer so that we don't see this kind of damage under hurricane winds.
Hundreds of thousands of Floridians live in some kind of manufactured housing.
This is critical research. Florida has the most manufactured homes of any state.
Compliant with Miami-Dade County's current building code, this single-wide trailer is equipped with straps to anchor it to the ground.
The home itself, how it's anchored, if it can be anchored in a better way so it doesn't roll over or move, then you don't have a loss, and they have a home to come back to.
With the wall of wind churning out 155 plus miles per hour winds at its source, the home took a beating, but initially the straps held it in place. Yet building codes are different in different places. Beyond South Florida, this manufactured home might not be as secure in a severe storm. After researchers clipped some anchor straps, then left the doors and windows open, everything changed. The home tumbled away. Researchers from hurricane country to Tornado Alley have lessons to learn.
Because we're able to do this testing at the wall of wind, it is letting us observe how that progressive failure happens, which lets us design solutions.
Not only can this research help South Florida build better, but it can also save lives. At FIU, Julia Bagg, NBC6 News.
Julia, really great story, informative, and glad that that research is ongoing because it's that critical information that can help save lives. And this was graphic from Hurricane Preparedness Week. We always talk about knowing your risks and consider the threats from storm surge, wind, tornadoes, and all that. But also identify your home structural risk, as it says there at the bottom. And of course, if you live in a manufactured or a prefabricated home, I should say, and you know that the wind can get under it and lift it, you don't want to stay there. You got to go to a shelter. Absolutely. Anytime we have a hurricane in the area. The wall of wind, though, I would love to make a field trip out to that. All right, so let's talk about the 2026 Atlantic Tropical Cyclone names. Arthur would be the first one on tap if we get a named storm system, or when I should say we get a named storm system. Of course, hurricane season starts on June 1st and peaks on September 10th. But once again, there are no active areas out there at this time. No tropical cyclone formation is expected, neither in the next 7 days, that is. So for now, if you want to get out there and enjoy the rest of your day here on the First Coast, you don't have to worry about a tropical cyclone. 85 degrees here once again for our afternoon high. Nice cool morning, warm afternoon. It really is a fresh day out there on the First Coast, especially this morning. We had temperatures, as I mentioned, down into the 50s. I'm actually looking forward to this rocket launch this afternoon. Definitely bright, sunny skies. That's also going to contribute to the higher UV index. So if you have sensitive skin, just keep in mind if you are going out to the beach to watch this or any other event here today and into tomorrow, that sun angle is getting higher and higher. We're only about a month out from the summer solstice. So you could burn pretty quickly in just a course of a few minutes if you have that sensitive skin. But that Falcon 9 launch coming up at 6:05. p.m. And still on the hot side, heading into our Saturday, 88 degrees with mostly sunny conditions here in Jacksonville. Breezy and muggier, and that is something to keep in mind, of course, for the Ironman challenge going on out here. Ironman Jacksonville. Oh, it's going to be so much fun to watch this. At least the swimming part. I mean, obviously, they're going hundreds of miles on the bikes. You're not going to be able to, unless they're whizzing past your home or something like that. But the swimming part, you can go downtown and just watch them cruise on by. It's very exciting here. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, so let's go back to that 7-day. We got less than a minute here to just talk to you and wrap up things here for you. Once again, we are getting into that wetter weather pattern. Temperatures into high 80s, chances of rain throughout next week. Very muggy and humid conditions as well returning. That means our overnight lows are not cooling off too much. So I hope you enjoyed the cooler weather today, because that may be one of the last ones you have for the foreseeable future here on the First Coast, as that humidity really starts to build and increases those low temperatures and high temperatures, as well as those chances of rainfall. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta, though. We covered a lot here today, so I hope you found it interesting, from the wall of wind to peaches to the latest El Nino update. This has been Weather Impact Live. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you stop by at 4:30, 5, 6, 7, and 11 here on FCN Plus, and keep you posted. Have a great day.